Welcome back, DoomTubers, to another game discussion. We're talking about Metal Gear Rising Revengeance today, and I would show you, the fancy case, but all I've got is the disc. But that's okay. I guess it'd be easier to see with the case open. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance for the Xbox 360. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what this game is compared to the rest of the Metal Gear Solid series or Metal Gear series, it is a spin-off. It is the entire campaign. The whole game takes place from Raiden's perspective, and it is a third-person hack and slash action game. Which, if you know me, you're familiar with me and my channel and my gaming habits. The game is right up my alley. This is the first installment in anything Metal Gear related that I have ever played at length, of course. I played the original Metal Gear for a little bit on NES, and it was too hard because, yeah, it's just too hard. And then I have a few Metal Gear Solid games, but I've never played them. I kind of picked them up thinking that I might try them at some point, but really I just can't stand stealthiness, like stealth games. I'm just so bad at them, and it's like I'd rather just run around and shoot stuff or swing swords at stuff, and that's really kind of what Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is. I think it does a very good job at those things. It's developed by Platinum Games, or Platinum Games at least had a strong hand in. I don't know if it was completely developed by them, but Kojima and Konami, Konami's got its name on it, Kojima game, because it's a Metal Gear Solid game. But Platinum Games knows how to make a hack and slash game, and they're very good at it, and this game is no exception. The first off, you start out, pretty underwhelming. You're kind of underpowered, and you get to the first boss, and minor spoiler here, but you're supposed to lose. I think I don't even know if there's a way that you could win this battle. I mean, yeah, I don't think you could win because I couldn't land anything on this guy, and it was just it was frustrating. But then you kind of go and you get your cyborgness kind of revamped a little bit. You come back quite a bit stronger, and then you continue on with the rest of the game. That all happens within, the first 15-20 minutes of gameplay. I thought that the story was very nice. Obviously, I mean, it makes references to the Patriots quite a bit in a lot of ways. Which I think is in reference to Metal Gear Solid 4. Don't know. Like I said, never played it, but I have to think that that's what it is. So there's lots of references to the past games in the numbered series or the Metal Gear proper series, but it is independent also. It's got its own kind of timeline and story. Going on, like I said, taking place entirely from Raiden's perspective. It was kind of a badass character. I really liked his character, and I really kind of got into the game. I mean, I was kind of I was really interested in the story, and so much so that, like I said, I do kind of want to go back now and play other Metal Gear Solid games, but it's just like, I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if I have the patience, and I don't know if I want to have the patience, because like I said, I just don't quite enjoy stealth games, but I might give 2 a shot at some point. I'm just going to skip 1 altogether. I know that seems like something I shouldn't do, but yeah, I just don't want to play the first one. I don't know why, but yeah, there were several of the game mechanics that I really liked. I liked the blade mode. Like you've got your standard, where you just hack slash, kind of thing. But then also if you held down the left trigger, you entered this blade mode where you just slice things horizontally or vertically, and you just it would slow down time, and you just go go crazy hacking things up, and it was really nice. And as you progress through the game, you collect what's called BP throughout the game, and you're able to upgrade and customize your weapons and your armor and your health. You get upgrades. These minor RPG things. It's not an RPG, but just these minor upgrades, attribute upgrades and things like that, and weapon upgrades. So that's kind of nice. You actually do feel like you're getting somewhere. You're progressing a little bit. I did play it on easy, and I will say through most of the game, it's pretty even keel. The bosses, they're always with some difficulty to them. Different ones that had, I don't want to say gimmicks, but yeah, gimmicks. For instance, what's his name? Monsoon is this like magnet guy, so he like separate his body, because he was like made of metal and like these magnetic discs, and he could like spread out, so you couldn't hit him with your sword at certain points. So that was a thing that made him take a little bit longer. I can't even remember any other specifics boss-wise. One of the other bosses, I can't remember his name. He's one of the main bad guys. Had a shield that he would put the shield in front of him, and then if you struck the shield with your sword, it would explode. Like it had like charges attached to it, so you couldn't, like if you had the shield up, you couldn't hit him in the front. You had to go around back, and so I mean, just different things like that. But I tell you what, if ever a game had a difficulty spike, this one for me did at the final boss. In the last segment of the final boss, I could not do this for the longest time. Without spoiling anything, there's a moment when the boss gets up on a platform and throws a giant object at you, and you can do one of two things. You can just run and miss the giant object completely, and then that's fine, it doesn't hurt you, but then you still have to fight the boss thereafter. Or you can use the blade mode and time it just right and cut through the giant object, and then eventually leading to a good slash on the boss. And also that would result in health packs would drop, like they were stored in the big pillar or something. I don't know how they just magically appeared, but if you did that, if you destroyed the pillar thing that he throws at you, you're able to pick up these health packs. So it prolongs your battle. So you get a good hit on the boss, and then you get a whole bunch of health packs. So it's like, why would you run away from it? But from what I read on this, because I did have to read up on it a little bit because it was so difficult for me. You have to just aim just right. For some people, they get it on like the first try because it's just like it was just a natural motion, or it was just an accident that they got it on the first try. But then some people, like myself, it takes a while. You just have to have the camera angled just right, and then once you get it, then you'll always get it. Because he does throw it more than once, 3 or 4 times, and if it hits you, then you lose a ton of health. And if you're like, kind of lower health, you're just gonna get decimated by this thing. And that's what the problem was. It's like, by the time he got up there and threw it, I was already low on health, and then he threw it, and I was trying to cut through it, and I couldn't, and it would hit me, and then I would just die. So I think I tried this final boss at least 30 times, and that's just a rough guess. It might have been less times, but I really don't think so. I think it really was probably more than 20 times. Maybe not quite 30, but it was a lot. It was very, very, very frustrating. But then that moment when I landed the move that I couldn't do. I knew from then on, at that point, I was like, okay, I got this, and then I beat the boss. Like, it was that easy. Once you succeed at it, you will never fail at it again. Like, it's not something that you can just accidentally succeed at and be like, oh well, crap, how do I repeat that? It's like, oh no, this is what you do. Clock, clock. You know, it's just really easy once you've like, oh, then you feel stupid. It's like, well, good grief, why didn't I just do that before? And yeah, it's a difficult final boss. For me, it was. But if I had got that on the first try, though, then he would have been an easy boss, a ridiculously easy boss. But yeah, it's a great game. Like I said, I played it on easy so I could just have fun and experience the story, which is exactly what I wanted to do going into it, and I had loads of fun with it, and I really, 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 really want there to be a sequel to it, like a proper sequel, to this game, not just, Metal Gear Solid whatever. I think Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of got announced, maybe not really, not officially. I don't know. I don't follow it at all, so I don't really know, but I can hope for a sequel to this one. I was reading up on it a little bit, and I think that this actually got canceled at one point, and Platinum came in and said that they wanted to do it, wanted to take over, and so Platinum took over, and then it came out, and that's why they called it Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, because I think it was just going to be called Metal Gear Rising, but then they tacked on the Revengeance at the very end, and it's, even though it's not a real word, Revengeance, it really, after you play the game, you'll get it. You'll kind of get why they call it that, and it's a fitting name, Revengeance. Yeah, it's kind of fitting. You'll really kind of appreciate the fake word and how it pertains to Raiden. So anyway, I don't know what else to say about this game. It's a really fun hack and slash action game. It's got a really low learning curve. I mean, you'll get the gameplay right away, and as long as you don't have the same problem that I did with the final boss, you'll breeze through the whole thing. There is some collectibles, some side mission things, some optional side missions that you can go around and collect these little laptops, and you can access them like during the story mode, but then you'll have to like back out. It'll just save from your last checkpoint, and then you go do that mission. You can come back, or you can just finish the main story and then kind of go back and finish those side missions, or VR missions, I think is what they're called, at your own pace. So those are collectible, and there's a few other collectibles. So there's a lot to do if you want to. I mean, all in all, I beat the game, the main story, and this is with, I did notice, this is with my my fiasco with the final boss. It took me just under 5.5 hours to finish the game, and I want to say at least an hour and a half of that, was just on the final boss, because it took so freaking long to beat that guy. But so that that means the rest of the game was only like 4 hours, which if you paid full price for this game, I can imagine that was somewhat of a disappointment for the main story to only take 4.5 hours or 4 hours. I can imagine that, but lucky for me, this was actually a gift from Mr. T.G. Apeleus, and he sent that to me a while back, and just now getting to it. But really thankful for him sending it to me. That's really awesome of him, and yeah, I finally got around to playing it, and I really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend it if you're a fan of hack and slash action games, but like I said, kind of short, so don't go overboard. Don't spend a crazy amount. I think it's probably pretty cheap now. I think it came out earlier in the year. I did totally leave this off of my 2013 games list. I just totally spaced it. as far as putting it on the list, because I had at least one other game on the list that I hadn't even played, and at the time of making that list, I hadn't played this, but I actually did start this on the 30th, and I was hopeful that I would finish it that night. I would, kind of squeeze it in on 2013, but I didn't. I finished it today, the 2nd, which is fine, because now it's the first game that I beat of 2014. So there you go. Happy New Year, and play Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. It's pretty good. Thank you for watching. Doomwaves out.